If you don't know, my missus is legally a dwarf. She's 4'10".
Legally a dwarf.
No, she is. She's legally a dwarf. We're looking into. No, that's what they're calling it, dwarfism. So my mom.
Oh my days!
But that engagement lasted long.
Yes, people, welcome back to DadPod. And if you're new here, this is DadPod, the podcast, and we talk about dad life, parenting, and everything in between.
You're awful.
It is cold.
If you are wondering why we are so wrapped up and why condensation is coming out of my mouth, it's because in the studio today it is very, very, very cold. So we thought we would come with the theme of being cozy and warm in January.
Yeah, it's needed.
Yeah, so some of us have got that.
As usual, for some reason, there's an obsession with giving Will the girl stuff.
Yeah, so we're wrapped up warm in the studio today, but bear with us.
And just for the record, I will not rob your phone, but I will swap mine for a heater.
Bobby today looks like he's going out on a trek to Alaska. But
Getting all that Christmas money back.
But yeah, welcome to DadPod. My name's NT.
My name's Chris.
My name's Bobby.
And my name's Will.
Yeah. So let's get into it, man. Let's catch up. So how's everyone been doing?
How's Christmas been, guys?
Yeah,
How's Christmas?
Very cold.
Cold.
Yeah, very cold.
Do you know what? I'm just glad to get back to like regular routine, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because do you know that lull that you get after Christmas holidays? So like it's after like Boxing Day.
Yeah, the in-between.
Yeah, the in between.
You don't know what day it is.
Don't know what day it is. You don't really know what to do with the kids because it's cold outside and stuff like that.
Do you find it hard getting back into the work routine as well? The first day I got back into work, it was like, what do I actually do again? Like, what?
Speaking to the mic, bro.
It's alright.
Come on, experience.
Come here, man.
For those who are new, these mics are like a new little addition to the setup that are on loan to us, and
we just
we're
want
getting
to
used to using them.
just want to shout out my good friend Liam for
Big up
letting us
Liam.
use his equipment because it's a lot fancier than what we used to here. So we're getting used to it.
I mean, we can just about afford heaters.
Bad mouth in the DJI. These lads are not grateful at all. In the season of giving, and you're just like
Season of giving's over now.
yeah.
It's January time.
It's the seasons of rebooking. But yeah,
I like the other mics.
yeah. Bobby's a fan.
Bobby's a hater.
you know what? I can't lie though. Yeah, I agree with you though. Not like getting back into normal life. It's amazing because obviously Christmas comes. You have the half term. We all already know how all of us cope through half term, especially me. And then you go back to work. What's my job?
Yeah.
First question you're asking. What's actually my job? I ain't been to work. I ain't done nothing for almost 2 weeks.
No, I actually really have that situation.
Yeah. So how you been getting on with things, Bobby?
Oh, well, things are, if I'm completely honest, things have been a little bit upside down. Everything has been brilliant. The girls have been good. But my last job didn't quite work out. It wasn't for me. So because I was an agency, basically the contract ended. So I spent the start of this year like frantically looking, so I need to be in work, but looking for the right opportunity again. There was a couple of offers which, again, just didn't suit me, and I held out, and it was getting to the point where I was like, I'm probably just going to have to take something, but I've managed to land on my feet, thankfully.
No, that's good, man. That's good.
Man.
Do you know what? I always knew you would because you're one of those people that always seem to land a job. No matter what situation you're in, you kind of always land on your feet.
Adaptable.
Yeah.
You got a lot of skills that are adaptable. Innit?
Yeah, exactly, man. And you've got a bit of a gift of the gab, so you
Just
can
saying you talk a lot,
he can blag his way into anything. Only joking there. No, the job that you're going into now, you're more than qualified for it, man. So no, it's good. It's good.
It's just one of those things. Like I'm confident enough with the skill set I've built that I will never be out of work. But I feel like I'm at the point now where I really need to get into something that first of all makes sense, and but then he's also going to be long term. I can't keep just sort of jumping around. Not that don't get me wrong, I've been finding my way, so I wouldn't change anything because, I mean, the pathway from music into education was one thing, but then now sort of finding my place where I can specialise in a certain area, it's definitely going to be helpful. So.
No, it's good, man.
Onwards and upwards, hopefully.
It's good. It's good that you got a plan as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, it's seems like January is a bit of a reflective one for everyone.
There's only 100 days left of it, so we're all right.
You know what? I find that January seems to be the month at the start of every year that just drags, and then after that, the year just goes by, and it.
Yeah,
do you know what? I'll be honest.
At the start of the year.
Should we get him a calendar?
Yeah, that should have been on his Christmas list, man.
What month was it before January?
He's good at maths, terrible at months. Do you know what though? Before my eldest was born, I literally hated January and February. Like I could not wait. I used to try and go away in Feb, like before the kids come, because I hate winter anyway. But when winter starts, I feel like there's a lot of stuff to kind of distract you from it, and it's not as cold in the start of it. So like obviously October you've got Halloween and stuff like that, and it's not that cold. November you got bonfire night, and then you kind of anticipating for Christmas, and then obviously Christmas comes and New Year and all that. Everyone's in high spirits, and then it's just boom, January. Nothing to do. Most people are skint. Yeah,
Man, it's tough.
Yeah, and it's just
really
cold out here, as you can see, because I'm wearing a big dinosaur blanket over me.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout him out, man. Yeah. Right then, now that we're a little bit warmed up, not really.
Well,
Let's move on to the next topic. So, what you got for us today, then, Chris?
okay, so we wanted to talk about paternity leave and like the absolute state that it's in the UK.
Yeah.
We've obviously all been through paternity leave and that, so we'll get onto our sort of experiences with it later down the line. But I just wanted to bring to the attention of the viewers and the listeners an account on Instagram called Dad Shift UK, who are campaigning for better paternity leave for dads and for families in general, because the mums need the support as well.
Oh, 100%, man.
Massive point.
100%.
But I just wanted to bring up some points that the Dad Shift have said. So in the UK, we just have 2 weeks just for dads of paternity leave, which is nuts.
Yeah.
How can you form a bond with your kid in 2 weeks? How can your missus recover in just 2 weeks? But yeah, that's less than half minimum wage on when you're receiving statutory pay. Like, how are you meant to afford to be on that? And then self-employed people are excluded from that, as you will have experience with. Whereas like our European counterparts, so in Finland, you have 14 weeks just for dads.
Wow.
I need to move to Finland before my next kid.
Wow.
9 weeks you can share, 7 with your partner, obviously. 70% salary, and self-employed are covered.
Do you know what I've heard? Finland is actually really nice place to live. Like it's a good standard of living.
And
Very
the
good
economical
standard.
state's quite strong.
The cost
as well,
of
isn't it?
living's quite high.
Yeah.
But
Just like in Norway, isn't it? As well,
yeah. The Scandinavia is as a general. Like Sweden's the next example. So you get 90 days just for dads, 300 days to share.
Mad.
So
80
between the two of you get like a year, innit?
Yeah, exactly. 80% salary and self-employed covered again. And then in Spain, you have 16 weeks just for dads, 100% salary, self-employed covered. And like, compare those 3 countries to the UK.
That's crazy.
That's a
'cause,
joke.
like,
What are we doing, man?
Do you know what it is? In
Like-
my experience with like being self-employed, I was self-employed when my kids were being born. So then what I've realised is I weren't going to be covered. So I said, sweet, let me go get a job. if I go get a job, they've got to give me paternity leave.
Yeah.
No, they don't. You have to work there for a year
Yeah,
before
yeah,
you even
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another
You can't qualify
crazy
until
thing,
that,
you know.
yeah.
A woman could start a job tomorrow, mid-pregnancy, and get her full maternity leave. And this ain't nothing against women. This is against employment.
It's
But
a
a woman
system.
can do
It's a
this,
system,
yeah.
innit?
There's a guy,
man
yeah.
has to be there for 12 months. So luckily, I had a decent boss. Shout out my old boss. And he twisted a few things and gave me paternity leave. But my situation was my kids were born away from home due to the nature of their birth.
Yeah.
And so they was in London the entire time of my paternity leave, and my paternity leave ran out before they'd come back from London, and
So
I was
you've
in
not even
London.
met 'em?
So no, I was in London
Oh,
with
okay.
them,
I'm with you.
but it was like I'm being asked to come back from London to go to work while my kids are still in a foreign city with my children's mum. I'm like, no, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
So the way it worked out, I actually used my holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no
yeah,
holiday
yeah,
for a whole
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And luckily, I just left that job like weeks after I come back, and
Yeah.
they never asked me about that holiday money. But like the reason I got that job was because I was self-employed,
Yeah.
and unless I was able to take on 10 times the amount of work before my kids were born, there was no way on earth I could take any time off, not even a day, when my kids were born.
Yeah.
Because how am I supposed to afford it? Self-employment, it's a risk, and it's business owning.
Yeah,
You're your
yeah,
business,
yeah.
your service is your business. So without being active, you're not generating income.
It's crazy,
it.
man.
I
It's
had
crazy.
I had a bit of a situation with my second daughter. I won't mention where it was because I don't want to get done for slander. But but basically, so like I'd worked there for a good couple of years, and then obviously my youngest has come along, and like it was like, yeah, you'll be paid. And I'm like, okay, cool. Come to my pay slip. I got like the statutory paternity paid for 2
Yeah.
weeks. I was like,
Yeah,
why is my wages so low?
Isn't it lower than sick pay as
And
well,
then-
statutory?
Yeah. It's
paternity?
like lower than 50% a year.
It was,
Your
it was
wage,
just
isn't it?
like, so what the hell's happening? Like, what am I supposed to do for 2 weeks off? Obviously, again, not really a long amount of time. And then they were like, no, that's what we do. You get your statutory pay. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, so firstly, where's the loyalty? Like, I've been working for you for this long. It's 2
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
having
yeah.
a kid. Like, you say you're there to support families. Then the other thing is, they didn't get anybody to cover me.
So when you come
So
back,
they
you've got
actually
that
used
workload.
it as a cost-saving exercise.
That's mad.
So it's like,
That's mad. So they didn't get paternity cover.
they didn't get anyone to cover me, no.
And you know,
They
when you
didn't get
came
anyone
back,
to
did
cover
you
me.
then have to pick up all the stuff that, let's say, you were supposed to have been doing? Did you have a
I mean,
workload?
it was a bit of a different time because it was through COVID, wasn't it?
Okay,
So like,
yeah.
so like there wasn't as much kind of work to do anyway. There was the work there, but it wasn't for so many people.
That probably explains why they didn't cover you then, because of that period of time.
I know, but when you were sick at that place, they didn't get anyone in to cover and took it out your wages.
Wow.
Brilliant, that
No
is.
wonder you haven't mentioned any names.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You should. Name and shame, man.
You know who you
That's-
are.
Yeah.
What's your
Shocking.
experience like? Because like,
Mine, do you know what? Mine wasn't too bad because obviously I'm a civil servant. So they kind of cater to you a bit more. So obviously I only had the 2 weeks, but I was able to take an extra week from my holiday, and I got normal pay as well. It wasn't statutory pay.
so you never got statutory pay for your 2
No, I
weeks?
just got
What,
more.
on the 2 weeks?
Yeah, on the
That's
2 weeks, I just got
I
the
need to get
normal.
a job at Natty's place, man.
And
so I
then
was paid like
yeah,
40% of my
shout out civil service, man, because yeah, they were all right with it. I still think the amount of time that you get off is just a joke.
It's nuts.
It's ridiculous because with my first child, my partner had sepsis. Yeah, so she was like mad ill. So like that's one of the reasons why I took the extra week off as well to like help out and stuff because she was struggling because she wasn't very well and like we had a newborn child. So you do need more time off, not just because of that, but because you want to build that bond with your child.
Yeah.
Do you know
And,
what?
like,
not
so-
just with the child, but like as a family unit.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
So you can support each other. Because the thing is, like obviously the mum in the situation, she's just gone through childbirth, whether that be natural or through cesarean.
They're knackered.
They're tired.
They're so
You're there
tired.
to support
Yeah.
them, but then you kind of need to adjust to being a dad as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
It is a lot to get your head around, and obviously we're kind of just put in a position where we just have to get on with it. But like that family unit thing is a strong thing, and I feel like even like, you know, in my situation and potentially your situation where we're not with the parent of our kids, it's like you've still got that sort of connection there.
Yeah.
And that could potentially be stronger if you'd have had that more time in the first place, like more deeper rooted sort of thing.
And I think, to be fair, it's like, obviously you got a bond with your child. I'm sorry, but 2 weeks of bond with your child's pathetic.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
not
say it
enough
as it
time.
is, I don't
It's
think
not
it-
enough time at all.
A 2-week-old child
Doesn't
still
even
doesn't
even know why
what's
it's
going
here.
on.
He's still getting used to the light. I swear they don't see in colour yet.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Children aren't born seeing in colour, so they probably don't even know what skin colour I am by the time I'm going back to work, unfortunately. And
Did you notice as well that when you went back to work, you were starting to miss like
moments.
key
Like,
moments
this
as
is
well?
the thing. Like,
That's it.
my babies were sitting up while I was sat at an office desk. Like, they was learning
Yeah.
to sit up, and they did their first sitting up, and I'm like, so I've
Yeah.
missed that, so I can file someone else's report that really truthfully I shouldn't be here doing because my kid was born 5-6 weeks ago. Like, they're starting to do the whole way around.
To someone that's not a parent, they seem like really minor things, but like when they have their like first smile and stuff like that, you might miss it.
The
Or
first little sound.
Yeah,
'cause
exactly.
They have the cries obviously from the minute they're born.
Yeah.
We all know what the baby cry is, but then you have there's a differentiation between the baby cry and the baby babble when they go and they start making. They realize they can make noises now, and then they start to play on them noises. So
they have different types of cries for different types of things, and that was sort of like a learning from, because my ex partner with when I had my lad, she's obviously there with him all the time, and she's learnt this naturally, and then I'm at work all day.
So when you're coming home, you're not knowing what the cry is.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So
he's either in bed like within an hour of me getting home. Or even before.
Before you've got home,
and then I've got no time to bond with him at all.
Yeah, and then on the weekend you're playing catch up.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's like them little things there. Like every child cries and has a different tone or sound of cry, depending what it is they're crying for: food, attention, because they're hurt.
Yeah.
And as a dad, 2 weeks isn't enough for you to register and learn that.
No way.
And so when you go back to work and then you're coming back home, the missus obviously expecting you to help out. The baby's crying, and you're now looking at her like, "Can you tell me what I need to do?" And it kind of makes you feel a bit useless in that sense. Because I'm there like, does my baby want food, or does my baby want me to go cuddle him? Like, yeah, I've got him in my arms. He's still crying. What's he crying for? She can tell by the tone because she's with the child all day. Whereas I'm with the child for an hour, maybe 2 hours a day, and I only get weekends.
With my situation as well, like we boils down to a lack of being able to bond. So my my ex, we had a certain complication with the birth, which meant that she was like really mega pain that she couldn't walk when
Oh wow.
she couldn't really, well, she could hobble about just about, but
she weren't that mobile though.
She couldn't like really do anything for about 4 weeks or so, and so I've had my 2 weeks. I've had a week off from holiday as well, so I had 3 weeks in all, and I'm doing absolutely. I actually remember you coming round and saying,
"Yes,
Browns, you look absolutely
you
knackered.
did. You looked so tired, man.
So I was doing
dead on
much,
your feet.
I was doing pretty much everything at that time, and then it all had to stop at the 2 weeks time, and like looking back, I think she probably had postnatal depression as well, so which a lot of women go through, and you can't really get through that without support of your family unit and stuff like that. So it's really tough for her in a mental sort of state as well as getting used to being a new mum, me being a new dad, and then so like when I'm getting home after this 3 weeks period, I'm cleaning up, I'm doing the dinner, and I'm not having any time to.
You do all the things you have to do. Obviously,
you
there's no
do
way
what
you
you have
change
to,
it. You do what you have to do. Like you've got to get it done. But
it's these
so
things like
early on,
if I had more paternity leave to bond with him later, then that would have been fine. And like it's fine anyway, because like you say, you do what you have to do, and
of course,
I was there for her and I was there for him, and like with birth of my daughter, this time around.
But again, though, like
there
if
for my partner now.
if you were around more, touching on you said that you think she might have had postnatal depression. If you were there around more, you would have been able to have like picked up on that. Maybe
you would have been able to pinpoint and be like, actually, I think you might be struggling. And the thing is, I read something quite interesting about postnatal depression. How women actually sort of blame you for them having it because you gave them the child, which then child go like the whole deep root.
Okay.
And like, so you being around helping them actually sort of helps them to understand you're not the reason they've got these problems, and it helps their postnatal depression in turn. So it's going back to like what Bobby said with the family unit.
Yeah.
There's teething issues the minute a baby's born because you discuss it while the baby's in the belly, but
it's a
the
completely
authority side of things and
completely
everything.
new relationship that you've
This
got.
is what I'm saying, and like your partner's also got to realise now you're no longer just readily available for them, and vice versa. They're not just readily available for you. There's down to like even the adult aspects of a relationship.
Do
There's
you
not gonna
think?
be so much?
Do you think men struggle with that aspect of your partner's got less time for you than the woman does?
I think so. I think there's, it's definitely a massive sort of shift in the dynamic, which I think you're prepared for to an extent, but nothing can really.
But until you're like in it,
you can't prepare.
That's where they're like, that's where like little things, man. They're the biggest things because it's just though as long as you don't lose those little parts of it, it's like like for example like a cup of tea when you get up in the morning, or just literally those little things, or like
I think communication.
Yeah, I was about to say communication's massive.
As long as those foundations are there, I think you should both understand. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if there's issues there, then talk about it. But
100%.
To be fair, when my youngest was born, it was really tough because we had the eldest who was only 18 months older, so she was still a baby, and then we've got a baby who's a new baby coming into the house, so it's another routine to get used to.
Yeah.
And then like kind of expecting all of us, like me, my ex, and then my eldest have all got new routines to get used to.
Yeah.
And I think again, if I had more time in the early days, I think we'd have found it easier. But I did feel like we handled it quite well. Like we literally we didn't have time for each other for a good 2-3 months.
Yeah,
it was. We need to do this and this for the kids. We didn't have time for each other because it was like I was awake, she was asleep, and vice versa. Or I was at work, I'd come back, didn't do everything I could so that she could have a rest. And
I feel with my daughter's mum, my current partner, that we've not really had much time for each other over the 18 months that my daughter's been alive. But the difference to this relationship to my relationship with my son's mum is that I don't think communication wasn't the greatest. Neither of us were great at that time in terms of communication.
And you've learnt from that now.
I've massively learnt from that. I've completely shifted the way I communicate, and like I knew that I was part of the problem because of, like, my communication style. So I've shifted that, and over the years before we had my daughter, that I was with and my current partner, then we've sort of developed how to communicate with each other in a really healthy way. So that's really helped the birth of my daughter. And like I think you still get snags, you still get annoyed with each other.
Course, we're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But I think overall we are able to communicate with each other healthily in a way that like doesn't blow up and feel like the world is ending. Yeah. So that's I think communication is one of the major things.
And that's a good sign as well that like when you do bicker and stuff like that, it doesn't blow up, because usually when it does blow up, it's something else that has caused that. That's been bubbling up.
You're pushing it down and it's
exactly. Just to wrap this up, has it always been like this issue with paternity?
Yeah, I think like the UK paternity leave has been really bad. I think recently they've changed the legislation so that you can share it to a point of 50-50 with but it doesn't give either parent any extra.
No, it takes
Oh, okay.
away
It just
benefits.
takes
The
away
mums-
takes away from the woman.
What they've
Yeah.
essentially done with the new legislation, from what I read and understood, is so women get 9 months. If she wanted to take 6 months and give you 3 months, so you can have 3 months and 2 weeks, she can do that. But you're still only going to get paid your statutory pay. So you're still them 3 months you're not getting full pay. You're getting under minimum wage.
And you know those 3 months that she's given you?
Yeah.
Do those start when she goes back to work, or can you have it together?
You can have it together.
You can.
So basically, say she comes off work a month before the child's born.
Yeah.
Because usually women do try to wait till that last.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of how.
Because they only get 9 months anyway, so they're like, let me just wait till the last point and then boom. So they wait till the last point. So say she takes the month then, and then you go on your paternity. She can give you 3 months of hers, which means she has to return to work 3 months sooner for you to have 3 months off.
Yeah.
And it's making it better for dads, but now it's making it worse for women and moms to make it better for dads. And it's not fair that moms should have to sacrifice because they've carried a baby for 9 months. They deserve that 9 month off.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a bigger issue here as well. Like people are having less kids, and part of it is that financial pressure.
Yeah.
You know, from like a business point of view today, if I'm running a business now and I've got employees, you know, from a business point of view, people are like, I want to pay as little as possible out. Everyone wants to keep their outgoings down, of course. But then, in the long run, like those kids that are being born are going to be paying into the system, and they're going to be getting a job like when they're older and stuff. The more strain there is on people to have a kid and how hard it can be, the less people are going to have them. There's going to be less people paying into the pot anyway, so things are going to get harder. So it is a government problem that they do need to sort out, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Government, sort it out, man.
Sort it out.
And if you want to follow this account, because I think they're really good and their campaign's really good, you need to log on and sign the petition. It's Dad Shift UK, all one word, on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll leave the link in the description anyway.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, shout out to Dad Shift, man.
One final comment back to has it always been this way in the UK? I remember we were having a conversation with my granddad, and he says that paternity pay wasn't a thing.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing. So like,
I had a feeling it wouldn't be.
My dad and my aunt and uncle were born, and they went straight back to work
after they were born.
My dad was like that. Like, even though paternity became a thing, I think 4th child in, my dad's a dad to way too many kids. But my mum was saying, because he's born in like 1945, his dad never took time off, so he just never did because he didn't see the point in doing it. He was like, even though it became a thing, what's the point in doing that? My dad never, and I'm fine, and my dad was fine, so yeah, cool, I'm just going to go back to work, make more money, and leave the kids at home. Traditional family, the nuclear family they call it, where it's...
Nuclear, yeah.
Mom, dad, mom at home, dad at work.
Yeah.
That's it. Crazy.
Okay, so we've noticed that more people have been watching, so shout out to you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for tuning in, man. We really appreciate it. And even better, we've been having some people texting into us. They sent a radio show from the 90s.
Been waiting next to my letterbox.
We've had this lovely letter come in from Billy.
Why is it always Billy with you?
Standard white name, isn't it?
Hey, don't tarnish me with that. But yeah, we've had someone write in, so if you want to read what they've put, Chris.
So this question comes from Jackie. I absolutely love that women are watching this.
Yeah, shout out to Jackie, man. Appreciate it.
And to all the mums watching, the nans watching.
Yeah,
like we said earlier on, it's a parenting podcast rather than
exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah, it's pro-parenting. Yeah. It's just pro-parenting from a man's perspective because we're all men, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So thank you, Jackie. So she has said, do you ever see your kids do something that is straight from your own naughty behaviour or your DNA that makes you understand what your parents had to deal with?
Oh, God.
And do you use the same methods to deal with those situations as your parents did?
Absolutely, yes.
To the floor.
Absolutely, yes.
Natty needs to get this one. Natty can take this one.
So, my 2 boys, the first one, he's calm as anything. He's got, like, temperament and traits of his mum. So, 2 years in, we were like, this ain't too bad. Let's try another one. I think we could do it. Yeah. Second one comes. He is straight out of my playbook. Honestly, like he's.
Go on, tell us your playbook.
So I've heard stories of when I was younger. I was very, very hyper. Used to get into all sorts of mischief. Was constantly getting told off. But I wasn't a bad kid. I was just a mischievous kid. Yeah.
Like mucking about.
Yeah. It's kind of the same. So he's very, very hyper, very active, likes to do stuff, but you can't tell him anything. He just doesn't listen. Like the other day, he was winding his brother up, and then he was like running around the house and stuff, and we were like, "You need to stop now. Calm down now. Let's have a little bit of a chill time." In one ear, out the other, just running around. And I've noticed that he's definitely like me, because whenever I take him to my parents' house, and like I'm in the living room with like my dad and stuff, and like they're playing, and I'm like having to tell him off for something, and he's not listening. My dad's just laughing at me. He's just laughing. He's just like, yeah, you've got it all full circle now, because he is basically you when you were little. So, yeah, to answer that question, my second child is definitely like me, but I do not parent him the same way I was parented, though, because I am from an old school parenting method where I used to get disciplined in a certain way quite a lot, which isn't really legal to do anymore. So yeah, I don't parent him that way. I try and make him listen and make him understand that certain things that you are doing aren't very good, and you need to stop them. But 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work.
You know what? I relate to you, man, because like I've got 2 kids. They came at the same time, and they're chalk and absolute cheese.
So they're twins, yeah.
Yeah. I've got twins in case you didn't know, guys. So you got B and O in it. B-O, I know. I get it, Bobby. Don't worry. I've already got.
I just want to add to this, like in the group, we have a WhatsApp group. the other day, Will referred to his kids as, you know, my youngest kid.
Even though they're both the same age, yeah, I know.
Which one?
They're both the same age. Basically, when I say youngest, I mean B, and oldest, I mean O.
So B came out second.
Yeah, B came out second, O came out first, and it.
Cool. It's just I read that, I was like, there's twins in there.
But the thing is, O acts like he's 2-3 years older than he is. He's very mature, very sensible, and definitely not got my personality whatsoever. Because let's face it, I am the most immature person going. But B, he's a tyrant, and he's got my anger issues. He's got my anger issues. I had anger issues as a kid, and I mean severe to the point I used to just get mad over nothing. Yeah. And and this is what used to stop me from learning certain things. If I got frustrated, like I can't ride this bike, I'm gonna pick it up and dash it across the garden. That's how I'm gonna say the bike's broke. I'm not gonna say I can't do it. Yeah. I'm gonna blame the bike. And so my mum would tell me that I did these things, and I got my son's bikes for Christmas, and B's on his bike anyway. O's jumped on it straight away, worked it out, pedals, he's doing it. B's trying, but it's just not working well for him. Picked the bike up, dashed it. So now I'm currently still repairing said bike because he's dashed the bike and it's missing bolts. And so, like, I looked at him and I was like, that's my kid. And the way I know he's definitely like me is exactly the same as Natty. When I go around my mum's, he's doing things that I'm like, come on now, let's just give it a rest. Stop now. Yeah. And my mum's just looking at me. She's not helping me. She just absolutely this up.
There it is.
Pound to the jaw. So she's absolutely just bursting. Bobby's got his phone. She's absolutely just bursting out laughing. I'm like, Mom, you're not helping. She's like,
I'm not trying to.
She's like, you didn't help me when you was a kid doing the same thing. But
you're getting a taste of your own medicine, man.
In answer to do I do what my mom done to or my dad done to me when I was younger, when I was doing them sort of things, because my dad was alive around them times. No, I don't. Same reason as Natty.
Yeah.
It's not very. So my mum and it's more my dad than my mum didn't raise their children what we'd call the legal way in 2025, and so I'm not gonna repeat that to my children. But the legal route's just so much harder. Because literally, same as Natty. I'm like, it's calm down time now, lad. Let's just stop now. Okay. Boom, man, just shot that. I'm like, yeah, you need to bring that belt back.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think most of our parents are like a similar age.
Yeah.
So I think, I have a feeling their parent styles are going to be
pretty much illegal.
Similar, pretty much illegal, yeah.
My mum could throw slippers around corners.
Wow.
Yeah, there we go. She boomeranged it.
My mum chased me around the garden with her slipper one day. She's surprisingly fast.
You know what? My mum is the same height as my missus. Now, if you don't know, my missus is legally a dwarf. She's 4'10".
Legally a dwarf.
No, she is. She's legally a dwarf. We're looking into. No, that's what they're calling it, dwarfism. So my mum.
Oh my days!
My engagement lasted long.
My mum is about the same height. Now, for a woman so small, I will confirm she is very, very strong, and a slap from her will make you go to factory settings.
Trust. My dad had a whacking stick.
Oh,
which
wow.
I've still got next to his ashes. Every now and then I feel like whacking the box, but so I don't use that on my kids now.
No.
Like back in the day, belts used to give me the chills, man.
Yeah.
That's why Natty don't wear belts.
I just my dad never laid a hand, but my mum with the slipper. Like if you got caught by that slipper, you're done.
So, Chris, as soon as you're talking about the slipper, do any of your children remind you?
I don't own any slippers, so
this is childhood trauma, guys.
They all got broke on his kids.
So, like, do any of your children remind you of you and you? Like, what are the stories? Because you're not going to remember yourself when you was 2.
Every day, like, well, like with my lad, he's proper hyper, and I was just hyperactive every single day, especially when it was approaching Christmas or my birthday.
Can I just say,
just levels up.
Every single one of us has mentioned about us being hyper as kids. I think we've all got ADHD of some form.
Probably, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, they tried to diagnose me with it, but my mum was like, no, he hasn't.
He's just naughty.
I'd just be like singing, making up random songs about like how stinky my sister was and stuff like that. and just like making random noises and stuff like that, and there's times me and the missus are sitting in bed with our cup of tea, and like the tea will go everywhere because all of a sudden my lad will go you're like, whoa,
oh, brilliant.
What? But then, like with my daughter, she will look you dead in the eye after you've told her not to do something.
And do it.
She'll look you dead in the eye while doing it.
That is
courage.
She's like, I'm not only gonna do it, I'm gonna do it with chest.
You little, but you're so cute. But you little.
You're gonna have trouble with that one.
It's
so then reflecting on how like your mum and dad used to parent you
Slipper's
because
not
of
coming
it.
out. I'm very much like my mum in that like I have a short temper. My dad was quite chill to a point.
Yeah, he's quite a placid guy. Yeah.
So I'm trying to be more like my dad, but I think since having my lad and my journey that I talked about earlier, that's sort of helped me get more towards where my dad was than where I was, because like I had a really short fuse with when I got angry I'd blow up, start shouting. FIFA rage. I used to play FIFA. I don't play FIFA anymore because so my blood levels have come down. So yeah, it's I'm glad I've gone on that journey of growth, because
because it's true that like kids act upon like what they see.
Yeah.
They pick up on certain things in it.
Yeah.
Before we move
I
to
don't
Bobby,
want my kids to be picking that up.
yeah.
And then,
Before we move to Bobby as well, that reminds me of a quote that I sent to the chat like a week ago, where it said like, shouting at your kids or making fun of them in front of people for that 3-minute giggle in front of family members. You know, you're like, oh yeah, so and so himself.
Hey.
Another pound. Mental health charity. Here we go. But yeah, like, you know, you make them little banter things.
Yeah.
It's more damaging to your child than you realise, because it's only their self. And you know, when you shout at your child, it's not you they learn to hate, it's themselves.
Yeah.
They begin to hate themselves.
Yeah.
And that quote kind of like sort of resonated with myself, with like just thinking, you know, my mum shouted at me. I never hated her for shouting at me, but I used to think what I was like. I used to start calling myself things. So yeah, like your approach is
definitely.
I hear it, man.
Yeah,
Bobby.
Man.
Well, my eldest is definitely the same as me, in the sense of like, I would like if like more so with my dad, but it'd be like if he told me not to do something to do something, I had to have a detailed reason why.
Oh, you had to know why.
Otherwise
Like,
Oh, you were one of them kids.
he reminds me of my oldest man. That's my eldest.
Yeah, that's like my eldest man.
So
By the way, he's only 3 minutes older.
I am the oldest as well, so I was the experiment kid. But so like my eldest, she's definitely like that. She's like, just I'm like, oh, could you do this? Why? No, don't do that. Why? And then if I fully explain it to her, she's actually most of the time she's okay.
Yeah.
Like, if I fully explain it to her,
Yeah,
that's what my dad had to do with me.
Yeah.
You know,
My
don't
mum just
keep
used
feeding
to
with that
ask me for it,
information though, because like, if you keep shutting down that curiosity, eventually you'll kill the curiosity. You know, like you shut down a child's
curiosity
imagination.
is a good thing.
Very
You shut
true.
down a child's imagination and you kill their imagination. So if you keep shutting it down, like, oh, because I told you to, man, just do it. As much as it's annoying explaining why, that inquisitiveness and that curiosity.
It's frustrating after the 10th question.
No, it is. No, I actually relate to you, because, like I said, B and O completely different. And if I ask him anything, it's why. And there has been a time or two I've gone, never you mind why, just do it. But like, not all the time. I've tried. I try my best to keep my saneness and feed him, because you're feeding his inquisitiveness, and as he grows older, that curiosity is going to help him get knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah,
that you
I've noticed that from my eldest, because he used to ask why a lot, and we used to explain it to him most of the time. But like now, it's kind of developed to something more. So like when he asks why now, and you explain it, he'll then like out loud tell you his theory on it as well, and then it kind of develops into a conversation.
Nice.
Whereas
Exactly,
so it is good. I do stand on that with you. Like, you shouldn't shut off
down their inquisitiveness, man. As much as it can be annoying, 700 whys to answer a day. Just answer it.
Definitely.
Why is the circle? Why is the moon circle? If you don't know the answer, do what I do.
Yeah.
Google. I literally Google it, and I literally said, because that's the shape of a planet, and now he thinks every planet's circle. When he finds a square one, I'm screwed. But
Flat Earth forever.
The next thing I'm about to say. So this is not a diss, and I'm pretty sure you'll laugh about it if you are watching. But, so my youngest definitely gets it from my mom. Full Mexican standoff.
So Bobby don't make it to the next DadPod episode. She didn't take it as a joke.
Full Mexican standoff. She's so stubborn, and you do just have to wait it out now at this point.
Yeah.
So like, sometimes I can coax her out of it. Like, come and give me a hug. Come and give me a hug.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. And she's walking towards me and then gives me a hug.
That's good, though.
So that's So she definitely gets that from her mum, and you do just have to kind of find the way, depending on how serious it is or whatever. Between the two of them, when it comes to sort of discipline, I'll quite happily smack their bum or give them a little tap if they're about to hurt each other, or if they're about to one of them's about to run in the road or something. But don't do that. Absolutely not. And it's not to hurt them. It's like, don't do that. Bit of a shock sort of thing. The shock factor. He's like, oh, I've done something wrong.
Yeah.
So like, it's not.
So no slippers in that then, yeah.
No. Tempted sometimes.
So I was thinking.
I'm sure I've still got the imprint.
When you were on about you give him a little hit in that, I was thinking that's why he's kept that whacking stick.
Nah, trust me, you'd know if I hit him with that. Oh my god, that stung, man. That stung. That did. And just on a side note though, like onto the question is, so what do you do when like your kid's done something wrong, but it's funny? So I'll give you an example. I was in my kitchen, right? I was in my kitchen, and my daughters were in the living room, and next thing you know, I hear Alexa say, "If you're in danger, please call the police." Like, so I'm like, "What have you done?" What? And she's like, "What? And I'm like, "Come in here." I'm like, "What did you say to Alexa?" And she went, "I just said, Alexa, ah!"
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Do you know what?
Don't do that.
In my household, it's whoever's laughing the less that has to
deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, which is normally me because but my missus will laugh at me whenever the kids do something. like my daughter was she came along and I think she had my son's fire axe. He's got a fire costume.
Okay, yeah.
So he's got an axe with it. So she's come along going la 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 la, and then whacks him across the head like that. And I'm like, don't do that. And she looked at me, and again whack as she's looking at me, and then don't. And I'm getting like I tried to put my dad voice and Mrs. in the background just peeing herself.
That's brilliant.
It happens all the time, man. I can't even give you just one example off the top of my head, but do you know how many times like my sons will do something, it's absolutely hilarious, but they're not supposed to do it. Like, right, there's one. B is starting to learn how to use the toilet. Yeah. So the other day, what's he do? Chase his brother around the room with his pants off.
Oh,
like,
God.
With his tinky winky out. He goes, "I'm going to get you with my tinky. I'm going to get you with my tinky." And I'm like, I've heard that from like, I'm in the wash, like the kitchen doing the washing up. And I've heard, "I'm going to get you with my tinky." And then O's going, "No, move." And I'm like, so I've come in and I'm like, I don't know whether to just burst out crying and laughing because it's hilarious. But at the same time, no, you shouldn't be chasing your brother around the house naked. In those situations, I have to walk away for 2 seconds, let the chaos carry on, gain composure, come back and go, "No, stop, and just hope that they stop on the first stop, otherwise it's gonna..."
That's brilliant. Right, on that bombshell then.
I think that's the end.
Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in again. Thanks for coming back to us. And if you do here, thanks for sticking till the end. This has been DadPod, guys.
And you best subscribe, otherwise I'm gonna get you in my tinky.
It's definitely wrong you say that. I know you asked it all.
Disclaimer: he does not talk for the rest of the DadPod.
All right, see you later, guys. This has been DadPod. Peace.